You've read all the books on manifestation, bringing things into your reality. You've learned that the feeling is the secret. You're practicing love and the high vibration emotions, yet things are still not coming into your reality. Things that you've wanted, things that you've wished for, visualized, done all the exercises for are not coming into your life, and it's frustrating. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about how you can move up the scale of emotions to possibly where you're at right now, what you might be doing to delay the things that are on their way to you, delay the abundance that's on its way to you, and how you can move up the ladder of emotions using a mindset, a technique that I'm going to give you at the end of the video. So with that being said, let's get right into it. Love. The highest vibration emotion, love, joy. They say to bring things into reality, to bring the abundance that you desire into your current version of reality, that you must practice being in the highest vibration of love all the time. Now, if you've tried this, you've realized it's incredibly challenging with all the distractions, with everything around us, constantly bidding for our attention, constantly giving us possibly negative vibes to feed off of. And that's not to mention the collective consciousness, which is also very much negative minded. Being around all of this can make it incredibly hard to stay in that high vibration emotion all the time. So I'm going to give you some things that you can be aware of. Actually, specifically, 3 things that you can be aware of that are going to help you on this journey and help climb up the ladder of emotions. So with that being said, let's talk about the 3 states of being that most people are in. This is a gradient, but remember, most likely you're in one of these 3 phases. The phases are discouraged, depressed, monotony, and kind of like neutrality, and then the high vibration emotions of love and, higher awareness, higher consciousness, expanded consciousness. So what are some of the things, we talked about love being the highest vibration emotion, and things come quickly there. When you're in this state of being all the time, a lot of the successful people that have made it in life and have been able to figure their problems out and move on and become very successful realize that no matter what the circumstances were, that they had to do their best to be in the feeling and the emotion of love and joy, even when really negative things are happening around them. Even when they're at their lowest lows, the vibration of love is just as strong as it was when, they had millions and millions of dollars. Think about it. There's people who have lost their entire fortunes, made, tens, even hundreds of millions of dollars, and have lost their entire fortunes, only to, a few years later, be right back where they were. What did they know? What was the secret that got them to the place where they're being? It was their mental models that they relied on. That's something, once you've developed, that nobody can take away from you. The second one here is low vibe projections from people around you. This is why it's important to keep things to yourself when you're actually building and growing. Maybe not even, express the full extent of your dreams, of your reality with people until they've sort of been on their way and gained momentum already. Because here's the thing, even though people around you care for you and have their best interests in mind for you, they may give you advice that's not in alignment with what you're doing. They may give you advice that's coming from a place of lower vibration, and that can throw you off big time. Like I'm definitely an enthusiastic person, and I like to tell people what I'm doing while I'm doing it, sometimes even before I'm doing it. Sometimes looking for ideas and stuff. But that's something I've stopped completely, because I found that when I'm in this high vibe state and I'm working on, building momentum and growing a business, even, for example, that other people's ideas, even if they're coming from a place of good intention, often are coming from a place of a different vibration, and can actually it can actually throw you off your path. It can instill things like self-doubt. It can instill things like fear and questioning your path. So that's really important to avoid. And when you're starting on this path, don't see anybody. You know what I mean? When you're going through a process of intense, psychological, emotional transformation, You don't need to see anybody, really. You're almost like, think of yourself as like a butterfly in a cocoon. You're going through an intensely transformative process. And even though the people around you care about you, it can sometimes subtract away from your growth. I know when I was going through some of my dark moments last year or the year before, working through PTSD and things like that, I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't talk to friends. I didn't talk to family. I even didn't have much of a connection with myself. But I knew going down to that rock bottom, seeing that introspection, being able to look at myself and, absorb knowledge and things that would help me transform and grow was what I needed most. So, the friends that are still my friends today, the family that's still my family today, they never left. You know what I mean? That's a true test of the people that you're going to have around you in your life. Number 3 here is moving up the ladder. So you're going to cultivate awareness of the next feeling up. So here's a huge misconception when it comes to this, manifestation and creating joy and all these things. You're going to move between all 3 of these things, right? If you have a job you don't like and you need to pay the bills, you're going to keep going to that job. You're going to feel like this when you're going to the job too. But when you get home and you're working on your business and you're working towards your aspirations, you're probably going to look like this. And you might move between the different things, right? You might have your lows where you're down here. And here's the important thing, awareness. Everything happens in awareness. Like 95% of your growth is going to happen in becoming aware of not only where you're at, but where you want to go to. We all want to achieve to have this, to feel love and joy, but even I don't feel those things all the time. I'll be honest, I don't feel those things maybe, I probably feel those emotions and stuff probably about 50 to 60% of the time in my life. And that's consciously working at it. So that's the skill right there. To get up here, what are you going to do? Well, let's say you're down here. You're feeling discouraged about where you're at. You're feeling a little bit angry and upset about where you're at. You may even have feelings of fear or greed. How do you move up the ladder? You can't go from here to here. That is unreasonable. That is going to be too big of a leap mentally even, because what's going to happen is you're going to try and convince yourself you're up here in feelings of love and joy when you're still subconsciously feeling this, and you're going to be at odds. Your feelings are going to be at odds with each other, and this is why, even though you're consciously practicing love and you're consciously practicing a lot of these things get preached on other YouTube channels and it's not working, is because you're simply coming in from a place of, could be one of many reasons, but you're coming in from a place of lower vibration and trying to immediately go back up there where it's really a process like a ladder. So what you're going to do here is when you're down here, you're going to look up to the next stage of where you're at. Okay, so if you're feeling like down and discouraged, you need to move your way up to monotony. What you're going to do is you're going to actually, think about what you would be doing in that situation. So if you want to go from, being discouraged and angry, maybe pick up something productive, right? Productivity is going to get you to the next step. Doing more, taking action. Taking action will get you up here. And once you've taken action, you may even get some inspired ideas. It's those things that you're putting off, right? When you put things off repeatedly, the things that you're resisting the most are most likely the things you're going to grow from the most quickly, and that's where most of your expansion lies, is where you're just uncomfortable. This happens when you're too comfortable. When you move up here, now you're actually starting to feel some discomfort, you're taking action, you're getting inspired ideas. You may even feel doubt and worry with what you're doing. You may even feel a little overwhelmed taking the step, moving up and becoming more productive. You're likely not going to feel bored, but this is, after some time doing that and becoming active, working towards your goal, you're going to maybe even feel bored. Now you're up here, and now you're going to move up to the next stage where you're going to actually cultivate this feeling. You're going to start to look at the action you've taken. You're going to start to think back, use your mind, and recreate the scenarios that you want moving ahead, right? And I talk about this in another video, you're going to amplify the highs when you're over here. You're going to make yourself feel really good when you have big accomplishments, when things are going your way, you're going to amplify the highs. And when things are not going your way, instead of slipping down here, what you're going to do is you're going to neutralize the lows, because you don't want to go back here, because to go from here to here takes a lot of energy. So you want to do your best to at least be in the productive area of, maybe you're feeling a little overwhelmed, you're a little uncomfortable, there's some doubt. That's okay. But you don't want to slip down. So you're going to neutralize the lows. Anytime you have a low, you're actually not going to, you're going to feel the emotions, but you're not going to hang on to those losses. You're going to let them go. That's the lesson there, is to learn to let those things go. And when you get back to, after doing that for some time, amplifying the highs, neutralizing the lows, you're going to start to feel some of these emotions. You might feel some joy when you get a breakthrough. You might feel some love when you look at what you're doing and the impact that you're having. And really, once you feel those emotions, so it's kind of like a hug. When you give someone a hug, you're not impressing love upon the universe, because those interactions happen very quickly. And this is a big mistake people make, is when you're feeling the love, you're feeling the emotion, you want to squeeze that emotion for everything that it's worth. You want to squeeze that love out of that experience for everything that it's worth. And I'm not talking about when you're hugging your friend to hug them for an extra minute longer to make them really uncomfortable. What I am saying, though, is every moment you have throughout your day, every experience you're experiencing throughout your day as it's unfolding, when you feel the love or the contentment, really sit and immerse yourself in those emotions. For example, you're having your cup of tea. You are grateful that you even have this tea, right? You're grateful for the cup. You just look at every detail of what is around you and immerse yourself in that emotion. And when you're in that emotion is when you can impress your thoughts upon the universe, and when those things can come into being very quickly, especially if you stay in that love emotion. So, you can only get so much love emotion. You can only get so much love out of one little experience. But the whole idea here is to look for more experiences throughout your day that can create that love, that can create that happy feeling. And it all comes back to something that was told to me by a very wealthy, successful investor who he went and actually had a meeting with one of the richest men in Japan. And they exchanged their gifts and stuff. He gave him the businessman. He had a conversation with this guy. They exchanged gifts, and he was asked, "How did you get to this place where you are now? How did you amass the wealth that you have now?" And his answer was quite simple. It was gratitude. To express gratitude for every moment that he was alive. He's not around anymore. But he said he would express gratitude 1,000 times a day, and he meant it. Like 1,000 times a day. Think about that. I've tried to be consciously grateful. I have a gratitude counter that I carry with me, and I try to keep track of how much gratitude I'm expressing on a day-to-day basis. And I challenge you to try and do this, and to even get past 100, because a lot of us are not consciously grateful. We're not consciously sitting in these emotions of love, joy, and gratitude long enough to impress our thoughts and our intentions upon the universe to get the things that we want. And of course, taking action is a big step here. And this is why when you're feeling, discouraged, angry, when you're feeling fear and greed and you're a victim, most likely the hardest thing, and this might be hard to hear, is maybe you're not doing enough. Maybe you're not doing enough. Maybe you're not taking enough action. You're yearning for the things that you could have up here, but you're not feeling and acting as if you already have those things. Think about the best version of you. What would that version look like? What would they be doing? And then start doing those things today. You're gonna feel some emotion. You're gonna feel some overwhelm and doubt, but you're gonna keep pushing forward. And when you feel those big breakthroughs, and when you feel those big wins, to sit in those wins for as long as you can and keep grabbing more wins and more wins and more wins, because I'll tell you what, the better it gets, the better it gets. When you get into this positive cycle of feeling appreciative for the things that are in your life, and you keep grabbing onto more things and more things, you have this endless stream of positivity. And now, my friend, you have made it to be living from a place of joy and love and freedom and gratitude and all those positive emotions. So with that being said, let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about what I just said here today? Subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.